Hi everybody, it's Gail from Gail's Bookish Things. Today I thought we could do a little pen update. I wanted to share with you how I've switched around my pens for the month of February, which is tomorrow. So I have some ongoing inks and certain pens that I haven't really switched out, but I wanted to kind of shift away from my purples and blues from January to more pinks and purples that seem kind of Valentine-ish for me, but it's not that way across the board. Overall, though, that's kind of the direction I'm headed. So ongoing still is my Twisby Eco. This is a medium nib, and I have the Taki Sumi ink in it. This is what the bottle looks like if you're not familiar with it. This is one of the Iroshizuku inks. I have loved my Pilot Iroshizuku inks. I have 3 of them, and they all are just really nice wet inks and beautiful colors. And this Taki Sumi black is, I don't know, it's called, let's see, it's like charcoal, bamboo charcoal. And when you see it in the barrel, you can get like some purple undertones there, but it comes out as a black, but it's a very nice black to write with. It's funny because it's a black ink, but I really like this a lot. So I'll just do a little writing sample of these two. This is the Twisby Eco medium. And let's see. Taki Sumi. Very wet ink. Very nice. Almost like a soft gray black, I would say. Excuse my voice. Anyhow, this guy needs a bath, as you can see. Maybe the black ink buildup around the rubber cap on the inside. I'm almost out of ink, and I do like writing with this a lot. It's just a good standard black. I have it in the medium nib, so it just is good for just a basic writing. A lot of times I'll use that in my planner. I'm showing my ink, currently inked by Inky Fingers. I showed this a little bit ago, and I thought it would be kind of fun to see how I use it. Basically, when I've emptied a pen, I just do a check mark here on this little triangle. So a quick glance, I can see that I still have this inked up, and I still have my Leonardo Momento Zero, the Venetian Lagoon. This is still inked up as well, and I have 54th Massachusetts in here, Noodler's 54th Massachusetts. I like Noodler's ink a lot too. Have not been disappointed really in any of the inks, and they give you such a generous amount, and I love all the history and story behind each one. This Franklin Christoph is, no, it's not Franklin Christoph. I was looking at the wrong thingy. Leonardo Momento Zero. And I have the Noodler's 54th Massachusetts in that. And it comes out much deeper of a blue than I feel like my early experience with it was. I don't know if it's because it's putting down such a thick line with this nice broad nib, or if it's the paper I'm using, but I'm really liking the blue. It's kind of makes me think of blue jean blue, but it does seem lighter on other papers, so I'm not sure. I'm not sure what the deal is, but it's a great combination with this pen, and it does kind of, I wish I had a little better lighting, but can you see the nib, how it's got the ink on it? So it just, I don't know, kind of a fun used look. I love writing with this pen. Those are nothing too new, so let's get to the new stuff, the new inking In my narwhal, I've switched this out and recently added a green, which is not a Valentine's color, I know, but I wanted to see how the Monteverde Jade Noir worked in this. I had Deepwater Blue in it before by Ackerman. It's the primary macchiato. I will just write that. And these are both broad. This pen I have been so happy with. It was an impulse buy for sure. I was lured in by the name Primary Macchiato, and Gold Spot did a great job on making it look coffee-ish and just very appealing. And it really is a beautiful pen. I reach for it often. I love how it feels. It's smooth writing. I like the large size number 6 nib. It's an in-house nib by Narwhal. And there's a little narwhal on there. If you can't tell, he's there. Does not post. So you have to be careful where you set your nib down. And this was a limited number. It's can't tell in this glaring light. Number 208 out of 320. Anyway, the Monteverde, gosh, I'm trying to blank, Jade Noir is very smooth, very wet flowing from this. Nice big broad line. And I have been super happy with this purchase. So not always good to buy on impulse, of course. It's better to think through your purchases, but that one was a good impulse. And I'm trying to find the jar. Here we go. It's a much smaller jar. I am very happy with Jade Noir. That's been one of my favorite greens. And then let's see. Oh, I did want to show the Heart of Darkness if I hadn't. I may switch out my orange from the Takesumi to the Heart of Darkness just to kind of play around with which black I prefer in that medium nib. Let me grab a quick drink of my coffee because my scratchy throat is annoying. Oh, that tastes good. Little vanilla Starbucks coffee. Okay, and then let's see. I decided to use my gray Twisby Eco. Again with a broad nib. And in here I put the, hang on, I can't talk and write at the same time. Twisby Eco broad. I usually specify which Twisby by the color of the cap. Anyway, this is the Yamabudo. Always a very pleasant ink to write with. This is another Iroshizuku ink. And I've got a good fourth, maybe third of it used. Beautiful bottle, beautiful ink. I would call it like a fuchsia or maybe a raspberry, a deep bluish raspberry. It's very smooth and it's just awesome to write with. Typically, I use Tomoe River paper or I use this Cosmo Airlight, and I like all these inks on both papers. Writing in my ink log is a pleasant experience, but it's not my favorite paper. And I almost, I don't know, I was going to say, I think I like the cream versus the white, but I do like the Tomoe River paper white. So, but this feels nice to write with. I just don't think that these pages do an ink justice. Maybe that's the best way of putting it, but it's not a bad writing experience. And I like the setup of this log quite a bit. And I really like that it came in the Traveler's Notebook Standard / regular size. Okay, and then in my Twisby Eco Clear, I put in Vinta Laguna. This ink is so amazing. It goes on super wet. Takes a minute here to dry. It's a deep red, I would say like maybe you would call it a blood red. Here it is down here as a swatch. It's just a very, almost a browned red. I don't see brown really on this white paper, but so maybe it's not like a dirty blood, but it's just like a deep red. And the way it dries just makes me think kind of maybe of another ink that might be called oxblood or something. It does dry much deeper than it goes on. So it goes on just like a dark red. I think it's actually supposed to be like a brick red, but it dries more brown toned, I guess you could say. I like the look of it a little bit better wet. It's so pleasant to write with though. And I don't go back too often and reread things that I've written. So the fact that it dries a little deeper doesn't bother me, because it's when I'm writing that I'm noticing the nice, rich, deep red. But it's a very, very pleasant ink to write with. I buy that from Vanna's pens. And then last but not least, I decided to ink up one of my Kawecos. This is my double broad. This was the dark olive. Super good nib. I have had trouble with some of my Kawecos, maybe in finding the correct ink to work well with them. This double broad nib has worked amazingly for me, and I decided to put in it, I'll show you here what it looks like on the white, but I've put in the Aurora purple. It's very bright. Now that would maybe be more of what you would call a fuchsia than the Yamabudo. And I hadn't been real wild about the Aurora when I bought it. I liked the sample a lot. And then I felt like when I started writing with it with other pens, I was finding it to be on the dry side. However, in this dark olive, double broad Kaweco, the Aurora purple is a very wet, flowy ink. It's really bright. It's almost, to me, like a springtime color. And color can be used, of course, anytime you want to use it. But I tend to like to kind of use colors that seem seasonal to me. So I would definitely put that on the spring, beautiful bursting forth blossoms, summer, you know, but I just was trying to find some of my pinks and purples that could be sort of remotely Valentine's related. I also have, as I've mentioned before, the J. Herbin Rouge Hematite. I don't think I'm going to ink that one up again because it's just bright red with gold. It's pretty, but I kind of wanted to go more pinks and purples, these primarily for a Valentine's Day focus for the month of February. But anyway, this Aurora purple and this double broad just are really, 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 really a great combination. So if you have a Kaweco and you're feeling like the nib is a little dry, or you're finding that it seems to run dry after a little bit of a longer writing session, maybe you would like the double broad, and maybe you would like to try Aurora purple because it's worked super well. It'd be a good experiment to try my fine nib or my broad nib and see if I like the Aurora purple with those nibs, but I do like it with the double broad. So it's super, super pretty, bright, cheery. As you can tell though, perhaps, let's see if we can get these two next to each other. There's a bit of a different feel from this paper, which I don't know what it is other than that they said it was a fountain pen friendly paper, to the Cosmo Airlight. I feel like this is more on the purple side. I guess they're both purple. It is called purple, but I almost think of a deep pink more when I see this. But this seems more traditional purple to me, where this is a vibrant purple. But both writing experiences are nice. And as I mentioned, on the Tomoe River paper, equally as beautiful. So I hope that was fun. Let me know what you're going to write with during February. What kind of colors do you like to focus on, and do you like to switch out inks according to season like I tend to do? So anyway, that's all for now. Take care, and we'll see you soon. Bye.